My name's Tracey Gaudry, nee Watson. I'm a nearly born but bred Geelong person, lived around the world and can think of no better place than to call Geelong home. I have to make an admission, I was not born in Geelong, I was actually born in Gippsland in regional Victoria. We moved to Geelong when I was 8 years old, and my mother, a recently single mum with the three of us, decided that if she was going to find the right home for bringing up her children, that Geelong was it. Geelong was an emerging city, provided a wealth of opportunity for young people, was just a hop, step and jump away from Melbourne, and she decided that was the best place to raise three children, and I have her to be thankful for. My mother taught me self-respect, self-esteem, but most importantly, self-belief, in that anything you set your sights on, you could actually achieve. And I've carried that since my very early years. So my upbringing was one from Gippsland, Victoria to Geelong, from very traditional roots, coming from regional Victoria, where it was said to me, and I remember at the age of 7, that you'll be lucky to get an education. And with a mother influencing me to say, strive anything you wish to. Set your sights on targets that are higher than others would expect of you, but learn from others along the way, because there's a lot of support if you do set ambition. Throughout all of that journey, I ended up studying at Deakin University, a wonderful institution and a wonderful community. And not just 1 degree, but 2 degrees, because I could. And I was doing a science degree and a commerce degree. Again, when you think about gendered stereotypes, I remember doing typing in high school, thinking that typing would be good. People said you might be a secretary one day. I thought, well, I might use a computer for other things than typing up notes. And then midway through my degrees at university, and at that stage it was a 4-year double degree course, quite unusual in the 1990s to be combining 2 degrees, and quite unusual in those early decades of university study to consider that your university life would be more than 3 years long, a standard degree period. Lo and behold, at the end of my 3rd year of university, I had been quite unwell for some time, and as a fit and healthy human being, I knew that things weren't quite right. However, that mindset and that determination ensured that I got through my 3rd year university exams across science and commerce. The very next day I checked myself into my local doctor, and that was a Friday. He went and took some blood tests, and the very next day on a Saturday my GP fronted up on my doorstep to give me some life-changing news that I'd been diagnosed with acute lymphatic leukemia. Being diagnosed with a life-threatening illness is one thing. At the peak of your early life, I had just turned 20, when life should, in theory and practice, be full of a lot of fun and hope and ambition, and not too many worries in the world. So to be diagnosed with acute lymphatic leukemia, which is in fact a childhood leukemia, and as a young adult the prognosis was very poor. One of my major studies was statistics, so I knew exactly what the prognosis meant. 10% survival was not a nice number to be living with. So that was a life-changing moment as a young person who felt that you not about walking on water, but that you were able to embrace challenges. That was a challenge that I was not prepared for. But it was one in which I had literally days to, calibrate my family, my friends, the community. Deakin University, as everybody knows who knows me, and my award of being Alumni of the Year in 2017, those communities were what helped me understand that I wasn't going to go through this journey alone. One of the difficult things about having a leukemia, in fact ALL, is that it's like a jail sentence, literally for 2 years. There wasn't a day since that diagnosis in December 1989 that I did not have chemotherapy. There was not a day off in 2 years until Christmas time 1991. So that term, where I became very good friends with all the staff at Geelong Hospital, was like jail, but it also taught me the endurance and the perseverance to be able to conquer anything. However, statistics are statistics. Your numbers could simply come up. And so every day I used every ounce of the support from friends, support from family, the support from the university, just to find a way to keep going, and the support from the medical fraternity at the Geelong Hospital, whose medical support and advice, of course, was like a Bible for me. I will religiously every day do what I'm asked to do because that's my piece of the puzzle. There was one day, except in 700 and something days, that I broke my own promise. And that one day was when I was in a cycle where I knew the side effects were going to be debilitating. And those cycles repeated every 2 months. So you knew what was coming, good, bad or ugly. There was one day where I knew I was going to be violently ill 24/7 for 7 days. So I flushed that treatment down the toilet. And so for the rest of my life, that one moment of what I call weakness lives with me. When the going gets tough, you can just find a way to get through. I couldn't salvage that treatment out of the toilet. I couldn't undo that decision, but I've used that to spur me on and to help others. When their obstacles are really high, there is always a way, and keep on going. And I'm here to tell that story today. There are many places and spaces and things that I love and adore about Geelong. For 2 years of my life, the Geelong Hospital was almost my home away from home, the place that I was drawn to because it provided the key to health, but the place that I almost feared every day because I knew there was going to be a treatment awaiting for me. When we fast forward more than 10 years, 15 years, and after the other side of my cycling career, there was a new cancer centre being established called the Andrew Love Centre. Clearly I didn't have the benefit of that being the home for my treatment back in the 89, 90 and 91. But in the early 2000s when it was opening, I just finished my sporting career, competed at 2 Olympic Games and came down to help with the opening of the centre. And to this day, my Sydney Olympic doona is part of the furniture in the Andrew Love Centre.